Hello everyone and welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon. Also, welcome back to me! I'm clearly the most important part of this. And we're getting back into Rumpel's route. Now before I start, I will go ahead and tell you guys, honestly, depending on what happens in this route, I am just a hair's width away, like I said in the description in the last video, of just quitting this and moving on to the sequel. Because I'm looking forward to the sequel. I'm not looking forward to playing the rest of this. We're not even in chapter 5 yet, not even halfway done, and I'm already sick of Rumpel. And technically I've only had 2 chapters of Rumpel once I finish chapter 4, because you only have to deal with Rumpel a little bit in the intro and then it starts on chapter 3. So for the fact that it's been only 7 videos and I'm already ready to just throw in the towel is a little... yeah, that doesn't scream good things. So depending on if this route just continues the same old bullcrap that I've been seeing, we may just be moving on to the sequel. If you have opinions about what I've said so far, etc., let me know. But honestly, I kind of feel like I will give it one more chance. If I don't like it, I'm just not going to do it. And if you like it, that just gives you a reason to download the game yourself. It's free on Steam. It's still fun to play, don't get me wrong. Just because Rumpel's a bad character doesn't mean that I haven't enjoyed myself up until Rumpel. Obviously I have. I fangirl over all 4 of the other love interests 100%. I even want them to kind of make a boy band. Alright, getting back into it. Alright, so do I need to apologize to Anise or remain silent? I would apologize. I am sorry. Anise looks at me, clearly shocked. She stares for a few moments before I scowl at her. Staring is rude. Oh, I was just... Why are you apologizing to me, princess? It is for something I did that you wouldn't remember. That I wouldn't remember? Anise, you're one of the only things that keeps this route going for me. You should tell me. I promise I wouldn't hold it against you. It is not important. Anise's eyes are suddenly downcast, and no matter the attempt, her smile isn't as bright as it once was. Just tell her the truth. I quickly finish stacking the bottles on the shelves. I am done. Anise turns to look at me with an unusually tired expression on her face. Thank you for listening to me, princess, and for telling me a little bit about yourself, too. I feel like I might have said too much. I do not respond to Anise, but instead choose to head out the front door. Anise asks where I'm going, but I just ignore her. I think about heading to town, but then reconsider. I decide to head to the forest instead. I make my way to the forest clearing. In the dark, everything feels a lot more comfortable. Here, I do not have to pretend to listen to anyone, and I do not have to talk about myself. Oh, it was mentioned, not just in the comments, but by, the 2 friends that I have that also like to play this game, that apparently Rumpel does get better in the sequel. Also... I confronted the one friend about why they wanted me to play Rumpel's route so bad, and apparently their response was, it's worse than they remembered. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, and it's not just them who apparently realized it's worse than they remember. It's actually a couple of other people too, including one of my usual commenters. So, again, I think it's a matter of Rumpel had a lot of potential. People tend to remember his cheesy lines more than anything else. And then when you replay it, you realize, ooh, oh my. I settle down on a rock and stare up at the sky. Yay, it was the right decision. I apologize, but Anise did not even understand my apology. And even now, I still cannot bring myself to trust those at the Marchen. I sigh and find myself speaking aloud. Maybe I am the Ice Princess. Ah, but have you seen the beautiful sculptures that can be made from Ice Princess? Okay, I like that line that he just used, because that actually is a nice thing to say. I turn to see Rumpel walking toward me, a broad grin on his face. Like, that's actually a nice line. Ice always sparkles in the sun. It glistens and stands so proudly where it's been sculpted. I stare at Rumpel blankly. He sighs and shakes his head. I'm sorry. That one was particularly bad, wasn't it? He sits down beside me and his grin falters a little bit. I have no white lilies to give you this time, my sweet princess, but I will offer anything else you would need for me to apologize for my advice earlier today. Okay, so far so good. I can offer anything. My words, and there it was. I cut Rumpel off as I am not in the mood for his usual behavior. You were always like this. All you ever do is flirt. Any meaningful thing you try to say is lost in the flattery you constantly give to people. It is shallow. You're right. What? I stare at him. Rumpel is still smiling, but it is not the same confident grin he wore earlier. Somewhere deep in my memories, I remember someone telling me off just like this. Many people enjoy flattery, Princess, and a lot of people are receptive to flirting. But nothing can measure up to a genuine compliment. But I stand by what I said before in that making a person happy is a good deed. Which is true, but you were going about it the very much wrong way. Look, I'll show you. Rumpel shifts so that he's looking right at me, and I notice that his smile is gone. Lucette, of all the women I've met, you are the most straightforward and honest. Many do not have the courage or the confidence to exhibit those qualities, which is entirely true. And that's why I admire you, and why I will always take your words to heart, because I know you will always speak the truth. I look into Rumpel's eyes, which still have a gentle shimmer despite the darkness. Now, there's been a time skip, and I kind of feel like there should have been a time skip a little sooner, and that these words should have come a little sooner. And again, the flirting thing should have been done. There's so much in Rumpel's route that should have been done differently, but this should have come sooner, I feel like, to kind of make up for the crap he's already pulled. And I worry that even after this, he's just going to continue to do what he's been doing rather than improve. But apparently he is supposed to improve to some degree. So we'll see if this is that turning point or not. For a few moments, his words float around in my head. No one has ever called my bluntness honesty before, and no one has ever complimented me for it. I just feel like this should have been the point at which Lucette started having feelings for him. Maybe thinking, maybe he's not as bad as he seems. Because, especially with that line about the ice statues, that would have made me go, wait, what? And then having him sit down, accept his criticism, apologize, and then him telling you that he likes this side of you, that he likes that you are the way that you are, and explains why he likes you the way that you are. And that wouldn't have immediately changed my mind about him, but it would make me think, okay, well, maybe we can be friends. And we're already still early on in the route. It's like I said, it's not even the end of chapter 4 yet. This should have been the turning point at which she starts thinking maybe he's not so bad versus before, because this feels less forced. And because his personality is as abrasive as it freaking is, him taking a little longer to start winning her over makes sense. And you can always add in time skips. They've done it to every other route and kind of emphasize that it's been months. Say, like, after this moment, it's been months, talk about how, like, you guys have been talking more, he seems to be flirting less, and then even have him apologize to Karma. That would be a huge step. Huge. Is if he apologized to Karma and admitted to his freaking mistakes, started kind of leaving women alone, and that would be huge leaps. Huge. And I would instantly start liking Rumpel from that point on. Or at least start to get to the point where I could like Rumpel from that point on. This is where it should have started, not before, because otherwise it just feels way too forced and way too rushed. But this would have been a perfect moment to start. And because they already forced her to have feelings for him in the not in character way, yeah, it still feels off. I kind of feel like now she'll start falling in love with him, versus this should have been the point where, again, she should have been feeling like, okay, well, maybe we can at least be civil. Rumpel told me before that I deserve to be spoiled. Maybe it's because he sees the things I do in a more positive light. My, you're struck speechless by that, aren't you? You look cute with your cheeks so rosy, my sweet princess. And I wouldn't have even minded that line after all of that, but considering all his past behavior before this, it ruins that a good deal. Like, this is the part where I kind of like, okay, I can see you in a slightly more positive light. These lines I can start to maybe laugh at again, but I'm still reeling from all the other crap. I'm still angry and frustrated and not at all happy about the crap that happened beforehand. I glare at him and Rumpel just laughs in response. And again, I might not have been bothered by that reaction if all his other crap had not happened. They really, really screwed up on this route. I put a hand to my cheek, suddenly self-conscious. Rumpel smiles at me, but it is not the usual playful smile. Right now, he almost looks serious. Did he mean what he just said? Alright, do I want to ask him if he meant it? He'd probably... I don't know if he would lie. He seems like a white liar, which is not any good either, mind you. But I feel like if we ask him, he would give us an honest answer, is what I'm trying to say. But I really want to tell him off, too, to be absolutely honest. He said he's fine with us telling him off. Oh my gosh, this is the first hard decision I've had in Rumpel's route. Oh boy. Oh, and I learned what happens in that last one where if you flirt with the guy, and apparently that whole scene would have made me so mad. So if you had chosen to flirt, which was the correct decision, you would have really upset the customer. Apparently he would have left crying. And I would have just been so... I would have quit the whole route right then and there, apparently, from what was described to me. And if you want to see that for yourself, again, feel free to download it and play it yourself, because I am not going back to play that scene. It would... like I said, it would make me quit right then and there. So I'm off first. I feel like that would be more satisfying to me. Why did you have to be so dramatic when you gave me that compliment? I was dramatic? I cross my arms and Rumpel grins at me. I can't help it, princess. I am dramatic by nature. A compliment is, in some ways, a performance, indicating it's all a big lie. So you did not mean what you said. No, I did. I swear I did. I was just trying to show you how making a person happy could be a good deed. Complimenting a person on appearances is easier than complimenting them on their demeanor. You have to know a person for that. Oh, and that was the correct decision, and I'm actually okay with that logic he just gave about the appearance versus demeanor. You have to get to know somebody for that. So that kind of indicates that he always means his compliments, actually. So maybe he isn't even a white liar. He's just kind of childish. And given that he's the oldest love interest, and again, a doctor, he maybe shouldn't be that naive. But you can also blame it on the fact that he's lost a lot of his memories, maybe, but I'm not sure. I meant what I said, princess, and I swear that wasn't just me trying to weave spectacular words together. Earlier, I bet you made a niece happy, too. You were spying on our conversation? I would never! I just happened to be making my way down the stairs very slowly. You don't even know what I was apologizing for. No, but you thought you had to after you listened to her, didn't you? I listen far more than you do. Princess, you've shattered my heart so many times there are permanent cracks. But do not worry. The cracks in my heart allow even more of you to make your way into it. See, that's the kind of stuff I would normally be like, I actually kind of like those lines. Maybe not in real life, but as far as like characters and stuff goes, I actually think that lines like that are really funny and cute. It's just, it's hard to enjoy them. Again, given the behavior he's exhibited up to this point. And again, this is where it should have all begun to change rather than trying to force it before. So it looks like they only need to fix up his chapter 3 and the majority, or at least the first half of chapter 4, in order to make Rumpel's route enjoyable, because this is a perfect time for her to start garnering feelings for him. Rumpel awkwardly laughs when I remain silent. Like, even him accidentally, or not so accidentally, spying on them, like, how many of the love interests have done stuff like this at this point? And how many times has Lucette herself done that to other people at this point? So, I mean, I can't get mad at him about that. Lucette is particularly bad about that. Anyway, there are different kinds of listening, princess. Listening to sympathize is one kind. Trying to put yourself in someone's shoes, trying to understand them, that is one of those ways. Then there is the kind of listening that is shallow. One pretends to listen without ever letting the words into their heart. Words are fickle things. Mother always told me that people lie and that they would say whatever benefited them. It is too foolish to trust words. What if Anita had been lying to me? Why would you put so much blind faith in people? Because more often than not, people are good, Princess. I don't agree with that. I let an exasperated sigh. I think more often than not, people pretend to be good, but they're usually not. Sometimes I cannot tell if I'm angry or confused by Rumpel. Ah, what a beautiful sound. It was as if the sweet wind itself was gently tickling my ear. I slide away from him and scowl. Your scowl is adorable too, and you have such delicate lips. Ew. Right. I am so convinced that his earlier compliment was just a lie. How can he say something genuine and then slide right back into this pitiful flattery? And like, cut the commenting on physical traits kind of crap. You're not at a place where anyone should feel comfortable with you doing that. Like, once interest starts to build from this point on, in, you know, you guys start feeling a little more romantic towards each other, spend a little more time together, etc., then it's fine. But given that you just had to apologize for making her uncomfortable, for angering her to a point where she like freaking left the room, or in the correct route to a point where you upset multiple freaking people, the last thing you want to be doing is jumping right back into this shit and then throwing around shallow compliments. And additionally, it is creepy to be talking about her lips, given, again, especially your behavior in the past so far. But at the very least, I don't want to freaking punch my screen in the hopes of hurting a 2D man at this point anymore. For a moment, silence falls, and I find to my surprise that it is not awkward being alone with Rumpel. Will you accept my apologies for earlier? I promise I'll never try to get you to flirt with anyone ever again. Besides, if you flirted with another man and then grew fond of him, I would be devastated. That would never happen. You didn't let me finish. I was going to say that I would be devastated because that would mean that your heart belongs to someone else, and my heart belongs to no one. I will steal it like a thief in the night. See, he can be cute. He has the ability. I feel like they did Rumpel dirty now because he has so much potential to be adorable. And they just turned him into a creep. A hateful little creep. That will also never happen. If not, then I'll settle with making you smile at least once, because I'm sure you would shine as brightly as the sun if you smiled. You are unreasonably persistent. Love is a persistent endeavor, Princess. A man in love stops at nothing to win over the woman that he adores. Then you must be in love with many women. Ha! Take it. I stand up. I would appreciate you just complimenting me when you mean it. But Princess, I mean every one of my compliments. I have no energy to chastise him right now, but at least I no longer have that anger inside from earlier. Same. It's been a long day and I'm going to bed. Would you like company? Seriously, Rumpel? I didn't mean good night, Rumpel. Good night, Princess Lucette. I make my way back to the tavern feeling surprisingly light. Still, even if Rumpel's words might make me happier than I care to admit, he is not doing a very good job of helping me with my curse. I might have to do this on my own after all. Okay. We're gonna save right here. And that means that we'll be getting into chapter 5. And again, I feel like that should have been the changing point, but I also feel like Rumpel was still a little too terrible up to this point, where I'm still just sort of like not ready to let him in. But at the very least, I can start seeing some of the stuff he says as being kind of cute. But then other things he says are still really freaking creepy and uncomfortable. And it's very disappointing because I can now see that, you know, he had a lot of potential. He had a lot. I really feel like the creators did him dirty. And this may be a little bit short, but I'm going to go ahead and end things here. Because I kind of worry that the next thing that's going to happen is not going to be pleasant and it's going to change my mind about how I feel toward Rumpel now. And I kind of want to hold on to this semi-good feeling for a little while longer. So I will continue on tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon. This so far has been Cinderella Phenomenon, the final route, Rumpel's route. We're going into chapter 5. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, all that lovely stuff. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.